Greetings and welcome, everybody, to this week's episode of UC Weekly News. I'm your host, as always, David Danto, and I have Chris Barwick on with me. Who's what's your title at Cisco, Chris? You've been there for such a long time. I never remember Cisco titles.
I am Vice President of Collaboration Go-to-Market and Devices Acceleration.
So all the hardware around collaboration is you.
Yes.
So before we get started in this conversation, tell the people that are watching this, what's your journey been in the industry? How long have you been with Cisco? What did you do before that? What brought you to where you are right now?
I'm going to date myself a little bit, David, but I will do that. I've been in the industry for 30 years, wrote a lot of technology transitions from Ethernet switching to ATM, asynchronous transfer mode for those that don't remember it, and then joined Cisco 24 years ago. And about a year in, I was a data center guy. I came in through a data center acquisition. And then about a year into it, I recognized how big the transition to IP telephony was going to be. And so I moved into a role, cornered a guy in a conference room and had him teach me everything he knew about IP telephony. And then went out there and had wild success with customers in a lot of different roles. I sold my first IP telephony deal before we even had a voicemail company. So we were using Active Voice as a third party. And then I did a bunch of different roles. I was an AM, I was an RM. I ran a video startup within the company for 3 years. I ran America's collaboration sales for about 4 or 5 years. And then I complained that I wanted Cisco to be easier for our partners and our customers to do business with us. Guess what happened? They came, said, fine, come fix it. So I became a vice president working for our collaboration business in Java.com.
Okay, that's a great story. And when you talk about Cisco collaboration, if for some reason I discount telephony, which I probably shouldn't do because that's where the story starts, but were I to do that, you can go back all the way to CUVA, the Cisco Unified Video Advantage. The idea that you pick up your phone and then the image pops up on your computer, and some people love that and some people hated that. And then there were plenty of iterations of cameras and of video telephones and video systems. And then there was the whole telepresence era, which I lived through. I still have the scars. I'm sure you do as well. That was when John Chambers asked a whole bunch of people to get into a room and invent video that was better, without any knowledge of what existed at the time. And some of the stuff was great and some of it was dumb. And it was an interesting era to live through, a real space race.
It was. Yeah, it's been a long history. I guess I would start it with Celsius. We made the Celsius acquisition. So if you remember those really, really ugly IP phones, I should have grabbed one. I got one sitting right over there just as a prop.
You see I got a 7985 back there, right? That's
okay, so there you go. You got some old ones too. We differentiate ourselves with power over Ethernet by automatically applying quality of service and VLANs. And as voice moved onto the network, Cisco did really, really well because we knew the network. And so it was a fun ride. We moved our platform to Linux, which made it massively scalable. And then, yes, in 2006, we invented telepresence. The second conference room in the world that got deployed with telepresence was in my local office here. And they took away a conference room and everybody was pissed because they took away a conference room. Well, I found someone that snuck me in there and I got to see and experience telepresence for the first time and I was blown away. And I knew that's what I wanted to spend the rest of my career on. We did really well through that, but not everybody could afford $300,000 a room. And that's why we acquired Tandberg in 2010. And because they figured out how to get it down to $3,000 on a desktop, right? And I think, with that, we got the team in Oslo, and that's been an innovation engine for us for decades. I spend a lot of time in Oslo in my current role. So it's been a fun ride. And then, of course, the pandemic hit and changed everything.
Yeah, we went from the, video is the new voice and, C calling and all the other things that you go ahead, try it, turn your camera on to, oh, I know what that is. And my grandmother knows what that is. And the local church and the other religious organization, everybody understands what video is now. And it's a little easier to describe to people what we do for a living, which is, in some ways a relief and in some ways a bigger challenge.
Yeah, it's we changed about a decade's worth of people behavior in about a 6-month period. So everyone had to get pretty comfortable working via video. We weren't necessarily the winners of that pandemic. We had to massively scale our platform because of the increase of use. But, Microsoft was on everybody's desktop with Teams, and Zoom was probably a little bit easier to use than us and became a verb at the time. And then we started making massive investments in our platform. And because we were a platform, we had a strategic advantage and all of our features started being developing. We made some really great acquisitions. So we acquired Slido for audience engagement. We acquired Socio for events. We acquired Babel Labs, which was an incredible audio AI capabilities. We got a lot of our AI expertise there. and then we acquired IMI for a CPaaS platform. All of that played into the platform. We knew that if we were going to be successful coming out of the pandemic, we needed to be the best collaboration platform at the best price. And so we did all that development, and then we came out with the WebEx suite, and at $11.95 per user per month, I think we're there.
Well, it's interesting, the I used to say, and I'm dating myself as well, because we come from the same era. I used to say that Cisco and Microsoft at the time were religions. You were never going to get somebody to convert from one to the other, and there's very the twain shall never meet, and whatever other hackneyed phrase you want me to use with that. But the interesting thing was 2 years ago when Cisco was building up the hardware platform and the WebEx platform, and Microsoft, boy, did they hit a good sense of timing, after jettisoning Link and OCS and Skype for Business and all the other wonderful decisions. They came out with Teams, which is a platform searching for a problem, and boy, did we give it one. All of that happened, 2 years ago too, I think, when Cisco announced, my buddy Snora was up on stage showing how the Cisco platform would be the first one that could be both WebEx and Microsoft Teams. And that really opened up a lot of people's eyes in a way that maybe the two religions kind of looked at each other for the first time in new ways. You get all the quality of the Cisco hardware and the security and the reliability, but now you also get the ability to natively interact with Microsoft Teams. And if that isn't the best of both worlds strategy, don't know what is.
Yeah, it was, I've been at Cisco for 24 years. One of the reasons why I've been here is because I'm really proud of the company, and we don't always get it right, but we always do what's in the best interest of our customers. And our customers had been saying, look, we made a decision at the CXO level. We're going Microsoft Teams, and I'm deploying more video, and I really, really miss your video endpoints. Will you please make it work with Microsoft Teams? And I found out about it, I don't know, probably about 4 months before it was announced. And I was like, oh my God, this changes everything. And about 6 months later, Javed Khan came to me and said, hey, will you go focus on hybrid work and our devices business? Because I think we have huge potential. And so that's what I've been doing for about the last 2 years, traveling the world. I'm proud of what we've done. We have given the world's best video devices and now supporting one button to push for any meeting type, because all of our customers are using multiple meetings types, and native Microsoft meetings and native WebEx meetings on the exact same box, something else nobody in the industry can do. And we've been rewarded by it. Our customers are buying our video. It's one of the fastest growing billion-dollar businesses at Cisco right now. And when we face competition, we have about a 90% win rate right now, which is pretty outstanding. So excited about what we've delivered.
So if anybody isn't familiar with the whole portfolio, and don't go through all of it right now, and I'm probably the worst, because believe it or not, I don't tell too many people this, but I'll tell you that I'm looking at you on a screen right now of an EX60. So I'm not using the video in it, but that is the screen that I'm using. What is represented in the endpoint portfolio from the desk all the way up? I mean, you still have solutions that go from just a USB camera all the way to full room systems.
Yeah, let's start with our video devices. So they're all on Room OS. It's a secure Linux OS that we've been developing for the last probably at least a decade. So all of our innovation has gone into that OS. We have a complete desk portfolio. So from our Desk Mini with a small 15-inch display all the way up to the Desk Pro with a 27-inch display. I'm on a desk right now. It has all of the audio and video incredible capabilities into it. It is actually a codec, so the brains are in the device. I do about 16 or 17 video meetings a day. I don't know how I would do that if I was running all my meetings on a laptop. That would just drive me nuts. And so that is a great portfolio. We're excited about that. Today, the Desk Pro is Microsoft Teams certified, but we are looking at getting the Desk Mini and Desk also Microsoft certified in the future. It's a little bit of a preview there. Then we have our room systems. So we've got our room bar with a single camera, our room bar Pro with a dual camera. We've got our all-in-one device with our Board Pro G2 that we just refreshed. All-in-one being audio, video, whiteboarding. We democratize whiteboarding, so you can use Zoom or Microsoft or WebEx whiteboarding or Miro or Mural whiteboarding.
And that had the old Meccano DNA in it, right?
It did, yes, from the original Spark board. That became the Board Pro and the Board Pro G2. We have 2 cameras in the Board Pro G2. I'm still a little shocked that we're the only one in the industry that does that, because when you whiteboard, I'm right up on the device. You need a camera with a really, really short distance. And someone 20 feet away I need a different camera lens. So this is our second device with dual cameras. It's now 4 times the resolution. So I say often that we're a couple of generations ahead of the competition. And then we have our new EQX. This solved a specific problem for our customers. The biggest problem our customers have right now is that they're trying to get people to return to the office, and it's not working really well, right? And they know people aren't coming in 5 days a week. The people worked from video at home for 3 years. They expect a better video experience when they come into the office. And I've got to send them into a conference room that's got a really, really robust video experience. I need to be able to join any meeting type. Well, typically customers are going from 10 or 15% of their rooms video enabled to 50 or 60% of the rooms video enabled. The only reason I don't say 100% is because most customers are looking to consolidate real estate. Most of our customers don't get to hire new IT staff to do that. So they're like, how do I scale all these conference rooms? And what customers have to do is they have to dramatically reduce complexity. They have to dramatically reduce the number of third-party vendors that are in those rooms, so I don't have a nightmare to manage. And the EQX was designed exactly for that. I can take any medium or large conference room and deploy an amazing audio and video meetings experience and deploy it in about under 4 hours. Whereas if I was trying to deploy a MTR Windows-based device with Microsoft, I have to deploy 4 or 5 different third-party vendors. It might take me a week to get it deployed. So that really helps our customers scale. They just buy the device, they attach dual 65 or 75-inch screens, and they add microphones, and they're good to go. So that's our video portfolio. I know that us that have been in the business for a long time, David, maybe we get excited about phones, but we announced our 9800 series phones at Enterprise Connect, and it is much, much more than a phone. At Enterprise Connect, I met with a customer who said, I don't want to talk about your phones. I've been removing phones from desktops for the last year and a half. In fact, I've removed over 100,000 of your phones from the desk. We spoke to them for about 15 minutes about our desk phone 9800 series, and they asked for a quote for 4,000 phones. Now, why did they do that? By the way, we didn't expect that. It just happened. They were struggling with desk reservation. Like, how do I get people to reserve desks? How do I know how people are using my desks? When I deploy a new office, how do I know how much desk space I actually need? People don't want to come in the office if they don't know they have a desk reserved for them. And so we solved that problem with the 9800 series phones, where I can go to an app, I can see the desk, I can pick it by my friends, I reserve the desk, I get to the phone, I hot desk into the phone. That is now my phone, and I can one button to push to join a meeting, and not just a WebEx meeting, but a Zoom or a Microsoft meeting also. All of a sudden, when you take those advantages and then you layer on things like emergency notifications, so there's an action button, which can qualify as a panic button for certain laws that are in public sector in the US. That action button can be your emergency 911 button. So people feel good about employee safety. And then our retail customers are deploying it as different actions. So things like overhead paging and other things. So we're actually starting to see our desk phone portfolio take off also.
Yeah, so Dave Michaels interviewed Mr. Reader at Enterprise Connect, and we got a good demo of this one. We'll see if I can find some of the video, and if I was successful at this, people will have been watching it while you're talking just for a minute or two. And if I wasn't, they just watched your face. But so no, it's a good story. You know, I'm one of the people that I have 5 phones on my desk right now, and I'm of the generation that will never give them up. And you know, the death of the phone has been greatly exaggerated. No matter how many times people talk about getting rid of it, it's still a very useful device to have on your desk when you want to make calls, when you want to receive calls, and when you want to do things very quickly. So yes, I've been using them. And in fact, if I'm not mistaken, Cisco was probably the first company that was able to log into a phone. I forget what the feature used to be called on the 79 and 76 series phones, where you could make it your extension no matter where you are at whatever that mobility desk extension. I forget what it was called.
Extension mobility, you got it. And now it's even easier with a QR code. So that's super easy. And oh, by the way, another preview. If you're a customer that uses Microsoft Teams for your messaging and you don't want to deploy the WebEx app, we'll actually support our hot desking with Microsoft Teams app in the future also. So that meets the requirements. By the way, customers love our devices because they're all manageable under Control Hub. And those customers that say, I don't want any more phones, that's fine, because they can buy our headsets, which are all manageable from Control Hub. The good news about headsets, people lose or break them every couple of years, so they replace them a lot more often than our phones. So we're
That's
actually pretty
good
happy.
news. Good news for you. I don't know if that's good news for them, but
Exactly.
yes,
Yeah.
I know you've come a long way in headsets with a couple of friends of mine that have come over to work for you guys with it. So yes, that is a good story, and I'm going to be playing with the your new Bang& Olufsen Inside earbuds that I just got a version of that I'll start trying with, and I'm
I
doing a
love
bunch of
my
testing. I'm going to have to get some of your video bars up on the test bench here so that we can get them into the comparison that we're doing with everybody else. But this is an interesting time of year, certainly for me in the New York, New Jersey region. This is when we start to shut the heat off and turn the air conditioning on, and that must mean that we're coming up on a Cisco Live, and that in the U.S. that must mean that we're coming up on an InfoComm. Now, I don't want you to break any NDAs or give away any of the story that you're not supposed to, but for the people that are attending those events and have an eye toward collaboration, can you give them an idea of what the kind of things they might expect to hear about and see about there?
Yeah, I'll tell you enough where I hopefully don't get in trouble, but
You and me both.
lots of excitement's built up for both. So Cisco Live, we've taken our WebEx AI assistant and we deployed our WebEx AI assistant across the entire collaboration platform. We announced that at WebEx One this last year, and we've now been releasing all of these capabilities to our customers. And now we have some really, really interesting statistics about the impact it's having on people's productivity and their overall experience. So we're going to be talking about that WebEx AI assistant and the impact on business at Cisco Live. By the way, we don't charge extra for the WebEx AI assistant. It is included in the WebEx suite, which is a great value proposition. But we'll be taking AI and talking also about AI in the contact center. We will be charging for some AI in the contact center, as everyone else would. But I think that people are underestimating the impact that AI is going to have on the contact center. And so we'll talk about this at Cisco Live. Our first phase was across the entire platform, and now the second phase is integrated onto contact center. It empowers agents, it empowers the supervisors, it empowers the developers from the contact center perspective. Virtual agents will help customers scale, and ultimately it'll help you resolve customer issues more succinctly and more rapidly, which is a huge impact on business. So I'm super excited about the impact and the announcements we'll make at Cisco Live. From a contact center AI perspective, we'll talk about the WebEx calling platform. We usually announce new numbers every single event. The growth of our WebEx calling platform is off the charts. It is the largest cloud calling platform in the industry, and we'll announce the latest number at Cisco Live, which I will not leak. And then, of course, for those that are going, we'll have our entire portfolio of devices there. So our 9800 series phones with all the integration with Cisco Spaces. We'll have our EQX there. We'll have our Board Pro G2 there. All of these devices, from a video perspective, Microsoft certified, of course.
Terrific. And then InfoComm, where I will see you, and we'll do this interview standing up in front of all your cool stuff. But anything new and expected from there?
Yeah, we're a couple things I can talk about, a couple things I can't talk about. We'll focus a lot, even though InfoComm is a video show, we will talk about our desk phones also. And the reason why is because with our video devices, we solved a major problem for facilities and real estate people. The fact that they now know exactly how people are using the conference rooms. Our video endpoints have an always-on people count sensor in there. So people go to the conference room and they don't even use the video endpoint. We still know how many people went in that conference room. That's unlike our competition. So real estate people know, I know when I build a new space exactly how many conference rooms I need. And I know that my large rooms are used on average with 4 people instead of 10 people. So I need more medium-sized rooms. We solved that problem. They did not know how to solve the desk problem. And with the 9800 series phones, now with the integration with Cisco Spaces, so I can reserve a desk. I know exactly how people are using those desks. Now I've solved that problem for real estate also. So we will focus on that as a solution. We'll talk about manageability and Control Hub. So we're adding AI capabilities into Control Hub so you can actually manage your workspaces, and we'll let you know when there's a problem and raise that to your attention. And we'll focus on some integration with Cisco Spaces and Thousand Eyes there. We will have a Whisper Suite. I will have a product in the Whisper Suite that I think is going to disrupt a major market in the space. So I'm excited about that, but it's a product that's going to be better and cheaper than all in the competition in this space. So very, very excited to get that product launched. We'll announce it officially in October, but I'll have the device in my Whisper Suite with me. So I'm excited about that. And then
we talked about Tandberg. Tandberg used to be a company where you'd have to get an NDA to sign the NDA. You couldn't.
Yes.
It was a little bit hard to get through there, but that sounds exciting.
These will be under NDA, but I'm excited about it. We also talk a lot about Cisco Spaces. There was a big webinar with Cisco Spaces team last week, and they've dramatically improved their signage. So now I can look at rooms and desk utilization. They've got indoor wayfinding so that I walk into an office, I hold up my phone to the device, and it'll now actually navigate me through the office to find a conference room or a desk. Desks are harder to find. Super cool. You can search rooms for smart spaces, ones that have video in them. You can search for rooms that have a wellness indicator, and that means that our video devices have an environmental sensor built into them. If we notice that the total volatile organic compounds, so the air quality in that room is going down, we integrate in with the HVAC and will automatically improve circulation in that room so that the CO2 goes down. So you'll be able to search for those kinds of rooms. We talked about smart desking. They've got some new enhanced analytics also. So we'll showcase a lot of new Cisco Spaces capabilities.
So I'd be curious, for somebody else that has been in the industry, nearly as long as I have, or longer, depending upon how you look at it. How do you take it when you see competitors? What's a better word than that? Not necessarily competitors, frenemies, co-opetition, or whatever the term is nowadays. How do you take it when you see somebody announce a product and all of their fans cheer when you had that feature 10 and 15 years ago? I'm struggling with that. I've been writing some articles, and I'm not exactly sure. Am I the only one who's saying, but wait a minute, we did this already?
I mean, look, I've said that many times in this business. So one of the ones that bugged me a little bit, and a lot of my friends are over at Zoom, so I'll pick on them a little bit. We built the WebEx, right? Best collaboration platform at the best price in the industry. We launched it. And then I guess imitation is the greatest form of flattery, because a couple of years later, Zoom replicated us and came out with their suite that they've announced. We've seen that happen multiple times. So it's just something you get used to, and it's okay. We're not stopping our innovation. So I expect over time for competitors to look at some of the things that we're doing and replicate. But let's be honest, sometimes we get beaten to the punch also by our competition, and we do the exact same thing to theirs. So it's a big business. There's room for all of us. Almost all customers are using multiple meetings platforms. So the way I look at it, David, is that, we're hyper focused on interoperability. And so I want our devices to work incredibly well, whether a customer is using Google or WebEx or Zoom or Microsoft. Now, of course, I prefer it be WebEx because I think we deliver a better meetings platform, but that's not the way that the world works. And so we've taken that to heart across our entire portfolio. So it's okay.
Okay, I guess that's a fair answer. I kind of stand there and say, but wait a minute, I've heard this before. And not only did they have that, they had to pull it off of the market because of GDPR. How could you be announcing it again? But whatever. Anyway, that's just me. Chris, I really do appreciate your time today, and I look forward to seeing you at InfoComm when we will be together. If somebody wants to get more information about Cisco and Cisco collaboration, or wants to reach out to you and ask you a question, how do you suggest they do those things?
Yeah, absolutely. Webex.com is our website, but they can reach out to me on LinkedIn, Chris Barwick, and then also my email. I'm fine to giving out my email address. It's cbarwick@cisco.com. Whether you reach out to me on the WebEx app or email, happy to respond to anybody's needs or questions.
Chris, thank you very much for the time today and the information and the journey down memory lane. I always appreciate that.
I love it. I'll see you in Vegas.
Okay. And thank you very much for joining us as you do every week. Next week, we will have another UC Weekly News. We look forward to you joining us for that one. We'll see you then.